Namaskar and welcome to this exciting new show on Sattology, debunking mythology. There are a lot of terms which have been really badly misinterpreted, and many times, you saw in the past one of the videos where how the days are. So we are talking about why why Monday comes after Sunday, and
Yes.
now we are talking today. We are talking about why or when should the new year start. And there are important definitions also in Mahabharata and other ancient Vedic texts. It is mentioned what is samvatsara. Samvatsara means end of time, and so there is a samvatsar fire, samvatsar air, samvatsar agni, which is fire. So this definition today, we have very special guest. You loved her videos. She has released two videos, and they have been hugely successful with all of you. So today we are going to talk about this issue with her. Let's welcome Sri Rupa Bhaty.
Namaste. Namaste, Aditi
Namaste.
ji.
Namaskar. So
So,
yes,
हाँ,
uh,
बोलिए please. बोलिए.
so Rupa Bhaty ji, like, how do you do such research? Because your research is so inspiring for people. Many people are inspired to. What is the process you follow?
Uh, Process. I think it is very. One should be very inquisitive about whatever they are reading. तो ये वहाँ से ही शुरू हुआ. And I found something very weird about कि like say for Samvatsar only. So I found कि New Year beginning जो है वो always it's happening in Chaitra, Gupta Navaratri or Diwali after autumnal equinox. Then why the texts are being corroborated to um, Uttarayana? So Uttarayana is definitely a very hugely successful celebration in today's time. But somehow that blockage was always there कि मेष में बिगनिंग हो रहा है हर जगह, चैत्र में बिगनिंग हो रहा है, विशु मनाया जा रहा है. So why these? So such kind of inquisitiveness should come up. And then when you read the text, you find it very interesting. Automatically आप उसमें फिर involve होते चले जाते हैं. My journey began with Rig Veda, in fact. So I was very much keen into reading Rig Veda and Surya Siddhant together to understand exactly संवत्सर से ही शुरू हुआ था. And to understand the Samvatsar, I went deeper and deeper into Rigvedic texts. And from there, Brahmanas, because Vedas are connected with Brahmanas. And then Aranyakas and Vedanga Jyotish, because Vedanga is again uh, the Jyotish sixth limb. So I just got connected with that also. So slowly and gradually, the horizon increased. And then I met Sri Nilesh ji on his blog. And from there, the journey began. Like, I went into Ramayana also to find Agastya evidence. Then Mahabharata also. I discovered Masana Margashishu Aham, Nakshatra Nam Aham Shashi. So
Yes.
that was my discovery. And he has put in his blog also there. So likewise, I was also connecting some dots which he left. So he's already he has done tremendous job. We are just adding few more corroboration because you see the theories when theories are correct, the other evidences, all the evidence will fall in a correct position. Automatically they will fall. Otherwise वो differ होना चाहिए.
Yeah,
तो
our
आप
point
कुछ
is
कह रहे
philosophical speculation. Philosophical
जी.
speculation is better than mental speculation.
जी बिल्कुल.
When people do mental speculation, they become confused. And when you
हाँ,
do philosophical speculation, then you arrive at some result somewhere.
that-
So let's get started, Rupaji, if you have a slides to show.
yeah.
So why should we celebrate our new year on Vasant Panchami?
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही कहा. ये एक बहुत ओल्ड मेमोरी है एक्चुअली. वसंत पंचमी एंड सरस्वती, रिवर सरस्वती.
We used to wet our cloth in yellow color with a flower. What is that? I don't remember the flower name, but we used to use that flower plaksha and
पलाक्ष पलाक्ष.
palaksh.
जी
We used to have the palaksh. And even today, Basant Panchami in Punjab is that flower. They color their clothes in that flower,
या
palaksh flower.
या. आई विल जस्ट शेयर द स्लाइड्स.
Even the Western societies, they celebrate. They have put some random New Year concept, random, and everything is reverse. Like for example, birthday was a time to give dan, not accept dan, was to give dan. The concept was the child was trained to give, not take all the time.
जी.
And the Western concept is now everybody is expecting, and if people don't bring gifts, then people are angry. That why there is no gift for me? If the child is angry over there. So the entire concept has been reversed,
बिल्कुल.
and the marriage ceremony was a yagya. Today, the marriage ceremony is the way they show their movies is the girl's father is crying, and because the daughter is going. But earlier it was a samskar. Samskar means Vedic ceremony that has to be done properly. So there are many things have gone off track to some extent in the Vedic culture
जी
and due to the Western and influence. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
जी. Sure. So uh, today we will be talking on Epoch of Uttara Falguni, an illustration from Taittiriya Brahmana. And we will be approaching to this truth, and we will try to minimize the error. So हम जो सोचते हैं उसमें भी कई errors आ जाते हैं. So we need to shaft them out, and we need to see. Can you see the slides now?
Can see the slide. Yes.
Yeah. I cannot see my. I think my window is not seen.
No, we can see your window on the side.
Huh. On this side, I'm unable to see.
No, when you see the video, finished video, people
Okay.
can see
Yeah.
you
Got
live.
it.
It's live right now. You're live.
Uh, so in this understanding of epoch of Uttara Falguni, we are taking today Taittiriya Brahmana. So this is one of the Vedic Brahmanas, and in this we will be discussing the Kalkhanda. So the immense Kalkhand is to be understood via this. And already yesterday's talk gave you 38,000 BC, which is too much into antiquity, and people would like to understand कि उसके बीच में कुछ था क्या, whether there were some more recordings in between. So this comes in between, so we will understand the Kalkhand also. Uh, we will also see that Indic researchers who have shown enormous confusion between equinox and solstices in dating Indian narratives. So, where they went wrong and why those dates got nearer to biblical times, you know. So, and what was the agenda and all those things, which is already being discussed by so many people around. We will be discussing a little bit of it. And by this evaluation of Samvatsar, we will find how old Taittiriya Brahmana could be for at least Uttara Falguni Epoch, because there are many other like Samvatsar by Dhata, Samvatsar by Shunasira. There are so many there, but lost into deep antiquity. We are not able to find at what point of time they would have been. Still, it is very much understood that Taittiriya Brahmana is a very old text. It's a Vedic text, and parallelly it was there, and exactly it was recording many of the samvatsars, Taittiriya Brahmana. So before we go to understand what samvatsar used to be in Brahmanas or in Veda, we I would like to share few points how it affects the human psyche. So initially they didn't know, say for 38,000, 40,000 BC, how would people know that what is the position of sun, uh, when it is equinox, when it is solstices, what solstices can provide them, what kind of information that can provide them, what kind of information can equinox provide. So those things, briefly, I will just take you to those slides so that you all of you understand that. So in this picture, you can see that the equinoxes, both the equinox, that is vernal and autumnal equinox, this is the midpoint, and the sun is setting exactly on the western horizon. So it is exactly on the west during the equinoxes. But during the summer solstice or during the winter solstice, it will be west northwest or west southwest direction. So it will be 23.44 degrees away from the equinoctial point. So this is how we visualize the sun. Every day the sun rises from the east and sets from the west. It is not the case. It is only when the equinoxes happen, and it will be rising, and slowly and gradually it will be going towards the west southern west or west northern west during the setting time. Likewise is the during the rising time also. That will be east southeast and east northeast. What does this create in the earth? It creates season because of the tilt, 23.44 degrees tilt of the earth. The sun takes its journey towards uh, trope point, and then it again returns to the equinoctial point. Again it takes towards the northern hemisphere, and again it comes back to equator. So it, in easy way, it can be corroborated like now you can see earth, and sun is appearing at equinoctial point, that is equator. It is going towards the Tropic of Cancer, and again coming back to the equator, again going towards the Tropic of Capricorn, again coming back to the equator. So this is how the sun's position is always between the tropes, that tropic lines. So it takes trope. That is why the name is. Now, what does
So,
it create? It
so,
creates seasons.
so
Huh,
many people talk that the Earth is revolving, and so it changes axis.
no,
And
axis is not changing. Actually, वो ऐसे ही रहता है.
uh-huh.
But it is going around the sun like this. Axis is at the same pole point. So it is moving like this, and again coming back. But what is happening is the sun is in between. So during this time, the axis is there towards the pole star, but all the surface of the earth is experiencing the sun to be at east only. बट जैसे यहाँ पे आता है तो अर्थ इज द सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर इज नियरर टू द सन एंड northern hemisphere is farther from the sun, so that is why we experience the season. Again, towards the autumnal equinox, it will be again parallel to uh, sun. So again all the rays will be coming towards earth perpendicularly, and again during the winter solstice time, the northern hemisphere will be like away from northern will be away from the sun, but the southern will be nearer to the sun. So I just showed it in a wrong, wrong
Yeah,
way.
in the Bhagavad
It is
Puran and other Vedic literatures, it is always mentioned that the sun with Arun, his younger brother, sitting on a chariot and his one yoke on the Meru Parvat of,
exactly.
and then revolving is running. And
Yeah,
the speed of the sun is also mentioned is almost like 19 million miles an hour.
yeah.
Okay, that's the speed of the
They
sun
were
mentioned. But we can
uh,
cover that in a different topic because if we
yojanas and yeah, the speed
yeah,
of light. Uh,
if you look in that way, then the entire model of the universe, which is set up by the Western sciences, including the way of calculating equinoxes based on Western observations, changes completely.
yes.
And we come at a much more factual view of the construction of planets, if you look at that way. Uh,
And it
but
is
we'll cover it
present
in
in
some other topic. Yeah.
definitely it is present in Rig Veda. Heliocentric heliocentric situation is not only in Rig Veda, it is then furthered by Aryabhat in Aryabhati also. So we have heliocentric situation in Rig Veda, and they could understand this. That is why it comes now 108, 109 times of sun and earth and distance between them. So Earth has a very unique and very special situation which other planets don't have. So that is why we have eclipses, because of uh, the ratio of the sizes of sun, moon, and earth is so unique. Because of that only we have eclipses so beautifully visualized on Earth. So Earth is a very unique kind of a thing. I don't know how it is so unique, but it's that way. So now, because of this trope, that is when the sun is in northern hemisphere. If you see this sun's path in the northern hemisphere, that is the time when the northern hemisphere will be experiencing summers. So वसंत के बाद जब ग्रीष्म ऋतु आता है, so summers then rains till the autumnal equinox. The northern hemisphere's insolation will be greater than the southern hemisphere. But when it comes back to autumnal equinoctial point, that is again back to equator, when it goes towards Tropic of Capricorn, and it takes a journey from of 6 months from there. So then we start Sharad, then Hemant and Shishir ritus. So that time northern hemisphere is away from the sun because it is rising and setting towards the southern hemisphere because of this actual condition of the earth. So this was being observed by the Vedic people very keenly and minutely. And since they were not having any compass, so equinox was the day that day they could find true east and true west. So it is only this day when the true east and true west can be found. और ये वास्तु पुरुष में फिर यूज होता है because that is the only day when you will be finding true east, west, and north and south. So they put the gnomon that day, and then with the help of shadow, they find the exact east and west. It cannot be found on solstice days. Exact east and west can only be found on equinox day. So they waited the whole year in the very ancient times. They waited the whole year to find the east and west. And for north and south, they were looking towards the axis and pole star during the night time. For east and west, they were just helplessly looking at sun. So now, what does this create in the hemisphere? So I told you that Dharma Vriddhi, which comes in the Vedanga Jyotisha. So it creates Dharma, the Gham, Bengali mein Gham bolte hain, that is sweat. The sweat is being created when the sun is in the northern hemisphere. So this is the beauty of Vedant Jyotish also. Dharma vriddhi apam prastha. That means कि जब घर्म वृद्धि हो रही है तो उस समय they start the water clock. And this has been again confused with Uttarayan kind of a thing. So why? Because from that day also the sun takes the trope from the Tropic of Capricorn to go towards the equator and then crossing equator and towards the northern hemisphere. But the concept was very clear. Now, what was happening here? Uh, Equinox day is only one day. Uh, at that day, on that day, they will find the true east and west. But during the solstice days, you can take summer solstice or winter solstice days. Those days cannot fetch you exact direction of east that I told you before. But what is the problem? That when sun arrives on these tropes, they remain there for many days. तो यहाँ पे सन पहुँचने के बाद बहुत टाइम लेगा टू गेट बैक टू द इक्विनॉक्टियल पॉइंट. So almost 20-21 days they are on solstice point, nearby solstice point, and slowly and gradually they will be coming to the equinoctial point. That is exactly on the Earth's equator. Sun will be rising and setting. So all the latitudes will be seeing rise and set in that fashion. So solstice, in my opinion, that is why the solstice trope of sun, which is holding the sun there for a while, cannot fetch the exact date, 21st June, या 22nd December. वो फाइंड आउट करना बहुत मुश्किल होगा until and unless you made an armillary, a kind of globe, and then making the equinoctial circle, then the solstitial colure. Until you make those things, you won't be able to find which date the solstice is happening. So Brahmana people, Vedic people, they didn't know Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. And this is the fact researchers should understand. They take Vedanga Jyotish also like 1800 years BCE, and conclude Magha in that fashion. We will take it in another discourse, how Vedanta Jyotish has been not taken care of. The dating is not taken care of in the Vedanta Jyotish also. So today we are focusing on Uttara Falguni. So in this slide, you see that during the summer solstice, the northern hemisphere is having much of the surface, if you see from the pole point, much of the surface of the earth into the northern hemisphere into sun's captivity. So that is why we have dharma, the heat, insolation of the earth's surface is much higher than the southern hemisphere. In the winter solstice time, the exposure is less because of the tilt. The exposure is less, and that is why we feel the cold and winter times. On the spring equinox day and nearby uh, these spring season, something is setting very unique, and during those times, for say 15 to 20 days, the whole earth is experiencing similar kind of spring and autumn situation. So we'll take the next slide. So this is the Nadi Yantra, and you can see that the path in the northern hemisphere, when the sun is in the northern hemisphere, this is taking larger time. And during the equinox, it is equal for autumnal and summer, spring. And when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere is experiencing shorter length of days. So the longer days and the shorter days. This is the Ahoratra combination. Ahoratra, that is the day and the night, are equal during the equinox day, but larger path is there and the shorter path is in the uh, northern hemisphere only, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere. In the Nadi Valay Yantra, it is very interesting that you can point the surface is taken according to the tilt, and this surface is assumed to be that latitude's surface, and accordingly they measure 23.5 degrees according to the tilt. This splinter is being, or the nail is being kept in between, and this is pointing towards north. Similarly, for this and this phase will be used for 6 months. So this sundial becomes useful for the whole 6 months. This can be found in Jantar Mantar and Udaygiri also near Vidisha. Similarly, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, as I showed you, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere and reaching towards the Tropic of Capricorn, during that time, the half of this Nadi Vala Yantra is being used. So this concept was, I discussed with many of the Sanskritists about the Yupa and Chashal, and the Chashal used to have a kind of a splinter in it. So Yupa is at the sacrificial post. Chashal is something hexagonal kind of a thing, or round disc kind of a thing, which is hanged on Yupa. And a splinter was added in between that uh, Chashala. Uh, it appears to me that this was the very ancient Vedic sundial, but it lost its usage uh, as the time came with new technologies. So it was symbolically used for the sacrificial purposes, and I don't know when it went so haphazardly into uh, animal sacrifices. It appears horse sacrifice is nothing, but it's talking about kind of sun's uh, length of the day was decreasing. So maybe that was sacrificed or something. I don't know. I'm still into that research. Maybe I find something interesting about it in the near future. So this is how the Nadiwala yantra works. But a special point is that this works from vernal to autumnal and autumnal to vernal. This is the Nadiwala yantra. So we understand that this was the time keeping of the Samvatsar. So Sam Vasanti iti Samvatsar. So Praja Vasanti Sukhat iti Vasanta. So Vasanta word means that something which is in Gujarat they say Bestu Varas, something which is sitting for a while. So sun is sitting for a while there still, and again then the declination change and it goes towards the north or towards the south. So the vernal equinox and autumnal equinox was discovered by the Vedic people long back. Now let's see how the two things got mingled. That is the Uttarayan and Vedikayan. So Vedic Uttarayan is nothing but vernal to autumnal, and autumnal to vernal is Dakshinayan. But the word Uttarayan, when did it appear? Because in Vedic concept, there is no word of Uttarayan there. Just like in Aryabhati, there is no word Kali, but people are assuming Kali Yuga to be 3102 BC. So that is again one dogma kind of a thing. Similar thing happened with Vedic Uttarayan and Siddhantic Uttarayan. So when did the Siddhantic Uttarayan came into picture? We will see here. So this is the armillary diagram made in Surya Siddhanta. They made almari of cane. So they were not using metals in Surya Siddhanta also. And one of the dating, I and Nilesh are working together on Agastya having 80-degree declination. It may go to again 38,000 BC, what I was speaking about in the last uh, talk. So, as I said, Vedic iron will be from this SP to FA point. That is, from spring equinox to fall equinox. When the sun is in the northern hemisphere, it used to be Vedic Uttarayana. And Siddhantic Uttarayan, uh, but Vedic Uttarayan was known as Udag Ayan. It was not called Uttarayan. So word is also different. The researchers are just mingling it and say that it is Uttarayan, but it is Udag Ayan. The sun hops out of that equator line. Udak word is very important to understand because Udak Mandalam is also coming. Udak is also coming on Kashmir. So Vedic Uttarayan is nothing, Udag Ayan. And this word is present in Vedant Jyotish also. Siddhantic Uttarayan comes very clearly and it says that from the Tropic of Capricorn to Tropic of Cancer, when the sun takes the path, that is called Uttarayan. So these 2 points on the solstitial colure, after making the armillary only, they got exact how to measure it, and after how many days the summer solstice will happen or winter solstice will be happening. And later on it came into the gnomon concept also, and they found that how many angula shadow uh, can be created to find out the solstice day. So this is how the armillary was made in Surya Siddhant with the help of king Vetasa. Uh, but did Rigveda or Brahmana know about this? So we say that they didn't know about the solstice point or the uh, winter solstice as well as the summer solstice point. They only knew Vasanta, and then after that they divided the whole year into Shalai Pakshasi. Yatha Shalai Pakshasi. That means two portion of the year, from vernal equinox to autumnal, then from autumnal equinox to vernal. And Vishuvat, the autumnal equinox, was the central Satra day. So this is what our Brahmanas and Aranyakas and as well as Rigveda says. So Rigveda I have quoted two, Vasanto Asya Sidajya Grishma Idma. So this is telling us that the first is the Vasanta. Vasant is the Mukhya. Vasant is the Brahmana, even, and Vasant is the Shira. Then Vasanten Rituna Deva Vasavas Vritas Tutam, and Vasanto Grishmo Varsha Te Deva Ritvaha. So Deva Ritvaha means this the Vedic Ayan, which was from spring to fall equinox. During these times, the three of the Ritus were the Deva. Sharat, Hemanta, and Shishir, they were the Pitaraha. But now what is happening? We are now introducing Siddhantik Uttarayan, uh, that is the winter solstice point, from C1 to C. That is C1 is winter solstice to C summer solstice. So this was introduced by Surya Siddhanta. But do we see a kind of pattern इंडिया में या इंडिया के बाहर कहीं पे भी विंटर सोल्स्टिस से अगर न्यू ईयर बिगिन हो रहा है आज भी तो does it happen? So I just got this chart done, and you can see Kashmir, they say Navre, Punjab, Baisakhi, Uttarakhand, Bikhu, Himachal, Chaiti, and everything is happening near spring equinox.
It's very
Chairoba,
logical. It's very
very,
logical also
ji,
because the
very
sun is
logical.
hot. Sun is hot over
Sun
there.
is on. And that was the time of harvest also. So
Harvest.
Rabi and Kharif, that was the harvesting time, and after that Holika, mein we put all those um, the harvested material. So that is the biggest yajna we do. You know, the Holika Dahan is nothing but that is the biggest yajna. Even our Daha Sanskar is the last Sanskar, which is the Daihik Yajna. So Daha Sanskar is nothing but the 16th Sanskar where we
Yes.
do our own yajna. Means the body is given
Antim
to the fire.
sanskar.
Antim Sanskar.
So,
So,
so uh,
ji, हाँ
s-
बोलिए.
uh, this for the audience. We will we'll divide this show into two parts for the audience,
जी,
because this content itself, whatever you have, for you it's very easy, but for some
जी,
people, it may go over their head, because they're
जी,
hearing for the first time, especially the
जी,
Western audience I'm talking about. Now, so many misconceptions, and this totally falls in logic, because in US also, the farmers, they consider the New Year's in the spring.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
In the
Not
rural America, it's all in the spring. In the Southern American cultures also, it's the spring. The concept of having 1st January right in the middle of the winter is totally illogical, because most of the places you cannot even sow the seed.
बिल्कुल. You cannot do any auspicious
Because the
thing on this
earth is
time.
so hard. Due
हाँ,
to the snow and everything, it's so hard,
toiling
you
is,
cannot do anything.
you cannot toil that, and during the snow time and all this, you cannot toil the earth at all. So you cannot do any auspicious thing during those times. हमारे यहाँ उसको फिर बोलते हैं that is kind of time which has to be avoided for everything. We
Exactly,
don't do.
exactly. In fact,
Kartika Amavasya, nothing has to be done till
the
Uttarayan.
farmers in US have best equipment in the world, but they also don't use their equipment, because even those equipments don't work on the earth,
Yeah,
literally, because you cannot dig into earth. It's all packed up with snow. It's like a snow and soil mixed up. It's like a rock.
exactly. And for any germination, you need dharma.
Yes.
So even your retas, if we discuss about that even the conception of by women has used to be done during those times. So because of the seed has to be very good. So those sciences are also there. We have lost it completely.
Yeah.
So here you can see that all the New Year is Balochistan. It is said Bege Road, and Nepal, Baisakh, and Nowruz, Iran, Persia. And you go to Coptic and ancient Egyptian, you will find near fall equinox they do, and similarly you will find Bestu Baras in near fall equinox, and Ashadi Bij in Gujarat is being uh, celebrated during summer solstice. So this is very unique thing to understand why summer solstice was New Year for Gujarati Kachi people, not the whole Gujarat, but Kachi people. So you can see the connection of Coptics, Egyptian and Gujaratis here, that they used to celebrate the New Year from the fall equinox time.
Mm.
And definitely the affinity was there. Till to this date, many Gujaratis are there in Africa. So because of the navigation of from very early times, they used to have similar kind of a culture, and that flowed into here for the fall equinox. But summer solstice is very interesting because Kutch is experiencing the tropic line, and sun is reaching there, and on 21st June near about, they used to have Ashadi beach, they used to have the first rain. So the rain begins on the tropic of Cancer almost on these days. So, for Kachi people who are waiting for the rain for the whole year, it became the most auspicious time for them for their cultivation, different type of cultivation. And so, and if you measure in inches, the rain is very less. So, whatever they used to do during this time. So that is why it became Ashadi Beach became New Year for the Gujarat Kachi people. But then you can understand the cardinal points now. Uh, after the Surya Siddhanta, the cardinal points were found. The four cardinal points were found. Until Vedic times, it was only autumnal and vernal and autumnal. But the two more were introduced by the armillary due to the armillary of Surya Siddhanta. Uh,
So can you scroll
now,
down the list?
yeah,
Scroll down. No, no, no.
yes,
The
yes,
scroll down the same
yeah,
screen.
yeah. Now you see Padwa in Maharashtra, which is also Chaitra Navratra time. Poila Boishak, उड़ीसा विषुव सो विषुव शब्द जो है वो आ जा रहा है हर जगह विषु
Mm.
केरला विषु कर्नाटका युगादि
Yeah.
Puthandu, Aluth Similes will be doing this, and the Burmese also during spring times. Songkran. Songkran is said as a Sankrant in Thailand. Coptics, Neuros, ethnic Marwadis, they do Thapna, Ashwin month.
So
And this is,
Rupaji will stop here
yeah,
the
sure.
this thing, and we'll cover the second part in the second one. So for
Ji, sure.
viewers, you are watching it live. The same recording will be available on YouTube. Do watch it. It's really phenomenal. I have lots of questions for her, but we are going to continue. I know your university window is ending, so we cannot continue the live show. But Rupa Bhattiji, what you have done right now is open the eyes of many people who think that the Vedic sciences were not accurate. But what you have explained here is so accurate and purely based on the Vedic texts, like Rig Veda you have quoted, and also Surya Siddhanta you have quoted. Many of these astronomical facts, in fact, the Vedic culture gives a totally new model of the solar system, completely new. And
Completely.
I think many places in India they're making it, like in West Bengal they're making it, in Vrindavan they're making it, and
Ji,
some parts of South America they're making it, the new model. And I think the new model which is there, which is far more accurate in predicting seasons, far more accurate in predicting the right time for doing things. And
exactly.
the Western, I would say the half baked imposition on the whole world just because somebody wanted to set their own time. When you set your own time, you set your own money too. That was the whole concept of the setting the time at GMT. So we will cover that later in detail in the second part of the same equation, same program. So viewers, thank you for watching, and Rupa Bhattiji, what a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
And we will cover that in the next session with you, detail on all these things.
Sure,
So
definitely.
thank you for your time.
Thank you
I
so
know
much.
it's very late for you in the India, and
Uh, Not very late. It's 8:42.
yeah, and for viewers also here who you have to go to your classes. Some of you are live in your classes. So for thank you so much for watching, and we'll keep watching. In the next week, we'll come up with the next second part of the same series. Namaskar.
Sure. Namaskar.